Imagine a scenario where all you've ever known since childhood was death and misery.
Protesters leaving an auto parts store in flames.
Nobody
Others
to raise you,
looting a local
nobody to
supermarket.
care for you. The system does not help you, and you grow up knowing that none of it will change. You work every waking moment to make sense of why this injustice is taking place towards you. You see someone just like you, living in the towers, and everyone around you has more empathy for the child with a silver spoon, whilst you're literally trying to survive death. How angry would that make you feel? And one fateful day, you finally solved the riddle. You now have the inspiration. Finally, you have the vision and information. Now you have them right where you want them. It's time for them to pay for what they did to you, for what they forced you to become. What would you do?
You came. I'm just an instrument, here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city. Let's do it together, okay? I've been trying to reach you. You're part of this too.
Who is the Riddler? Let's establish the kind of person the Riddler is. The Riddler is a disenfranchised individual, born out of political corruption and bureaucracy.
Renewal program is broken. This city's been renewing for 20 years. Look where it's gotten us. Crime has skyrocketed. Murder and drug use are at historic highs. We have a masked vigilante running the street.
He is the result of the inequities that exist in Gotham City. The vast income inequality amongst the ordinary and the ruling class, and is an amalgamation of the sentiments of the downtrodden that are constantly living under political corruption and gang wars. The people that were elected to serve and protect these communities have failed them. As a result of being born and brought up under a failed system, he has had enough. He has realized that change is only achieved by the root of upheaval. At least that's what I imagine he might say if you ask him that question. But what do you think it would be like to actually be the Riddler? Let's find out. Let's peer into the mind of the Riddler. Imagine yourself, a child, your first moment of awareness, finding yourself in an unrecognizable place. You don't have a dad or a mom. You have no idea how and why you're in this place. There are other children around you, just like you, huddled into a room like cattle. Malnutrition, lack of hygiene and heat, and your only goal is to survive this hell. Some of your friends don't make it. As you grow up, you start to piece together the story of your life and the world around you. You realize that you were one of the rejects of the world. That must have made a significant impact on your psyche. You had to make sense of the world all by yourself, without any help from a parent or even a guardian. Then, you realize the place that you grew up in was funded by a philanthropist, but the funds that were meant to be used for the betterment of your life were actually used to launder money and bribes. The funds that were meant for you, ironically named renewal, wasn't even used for your betterment, but to line the pockets of the criminals and the ruling class. Apart from the fact that your parents abandoned you and wanted nothing to do with you, you have people profiting off of your misery. You observe and record everything, trying to seek answers and identifying the specific people responsible for making the world, your world, that much worse. Slowly but surely, you realize that the whole system was rotten. You realize that it is your mission to take it down, to renew the whole system, not just for you, but for everyone. Simply put, the Riddler is not just seeking justice for the crimes of his tortured childhood, but for all of the people of Gotham. which is the same mission Batman is on. Listen to what Robert Pattinson has to say about this.
Just wants to keep recreating the night where his parents died. He's fighting a stranger as if they have personally harmed him. All the fights seem very personal every single time.
Does this make him the good guy and justify the Batman to be a vigilante? Seems a bit selfish, don't you think? Why is the Batman allowed to run around and take matters into his own hands, but not the Riddler? Why is the Batman's cause considered noble and just? Someone like the Riddler would consider the Batman's strategy very ineffective. And could you blame him?
All it takes is fear and a little focused violence.
The fictional world of the Batman universe may not be so fictional. Look around you. Look at our current society.
We have a corrupt political system in which money, big money, buys elections.
The unemployment rate ticked up from 4.1% to 4.3%.
And the global stock market intensifies as the sell-off continues.
People out there making money off of your misery. They don't care about you. They have no connection to you and your family. They make empty promises to keep you sedated from the real facts of how badly they are sucking off your despair. You work hard every day to make ends meet, despite everything. They could renew the system to make things better for everyone, but they don't, because there is no profit to be gained from that. The Riddler actually brought about positive changes to the city of Gotham. He brought the lies of the renewal fund to the surface for everyone to see. He killed the corrupt officials and Carmine Falcone, people that have remained in their positions of power through corruption and sucking the city dry until they retire in their comfortable graves. The Batman has a code of not killing and would never have been able to bring these people to justice since the whole system is rotten to the core. In many ways, the Riddler was quite effective in this case. Do I believe in due process? Hell yes. But what option do you have if the institutions that were designed to make things just and fair are only created to keep you on the straight and narrow, and every two-bit criminal with a bit of cash can just buy the justice they need and get away with it? What would you do in this case? Again, let me be clear. At no point do I justify the actions of the Riddler, and I would never condone murder. But can't you at least understand his perspective? From the Riddler's subjective point of view, everything makes perfect sense, and you might even justify the actions he took because of the horrible things he went through. But if you analyze from an objective point of view, he caused a lot of destruction and added even more instability to Gotham, killing the mayor, killing a mob boss, albeit not good people by any stretch of the imagination. It causes instant instability as gangs quickly try to capture the void that has been created, which leads to more crime and destruction. Listen to what Paul Dano has to say about it.
If the Batman's vengeance, what do you think the Riddler is?
Justice. What feels fair and what's been unfair, and it's not fair. Corrupt are getting richer while we're suffering. Vengeance and justice.
As he sees it, Batman and himself are on the same trajectory and have the same goals. After all, in his own words,
You inspired me. You showed me what was possible. All it takes is fear and a little focused violence.
The Riddler's vision is very much limited to seeking justice for his messed up childhood, whereas the Batman's vision is to make the city a better version of himself, fully knowing that in all likelihood he may never be able to achieve that goal, but will nevertheless die for that cause. But is the Riddler's ideology sustainable? Let's look at it from the Batman's perspective. Let's say the Batman did kill the Riddler for all the crimes he committed without any due process. Because if he catches the Riddler and brings him to justice, the Riddler will just go to Arkham Asylum since he will plead insanity, as he's actually gone insane. From there, he will break out one way or another because the system is corrupt, and the Riddler, as much as people do not give him credit, is really smart as well. After he's out, he will try and finish what he started. So let's just nip that problem in the bud so that we can focus on the other criminals and wipe them out as well. Well, as you can see where I'm going with this, how many people / criminals / politicians would you have to eradicate in order to renew the system? And how many innocent people will get caught up in this crossfire, not just as a result, but also as a consequence of the Batman's actions? What we fail to understand, or in this case the Riddler fails to understand, now that he cares, is that every action that he takes will have a knock-on effect on every part of society. You take out a mob boss, there will be 3 more fighting over that spot. Innocent people dead. You take out a politician, public funds wasted on elections, instability in the economy because businesses would not want to invest in high crime areas. The innocent people are affected again because jobs will start disappearing, which leads to more violence because everyone is on high alert, and then random violence on the street because nobody is safe. And sooner or later, you have civil war on your hands. This is the butterfly effect the Riddler will start as a result of his personal and selfish crusade masquerading as a renewal of the system. Matt Reeves and the writers did a fantastic job with the Riddler. As far as I can analyze this, the creators of the Batman wanted a villain who kinda had a similar trauma, the loss of their parents. In this movie, we do not know whether the Riddler's parents were killed or whether he was simply abandoned, which is worse. In relativistic terms, the Riddler had to endure much worse as a child as compared to Bruce Wayne, as he rightly puts it. And this is the Riddler's reason that he used as a justification for everything he does. He only wants to seek justice, and he does not care who he has to kill in order to seek that justice. While on the other hand, the ideals that were thrusted upon Bruce by his parents and Alfred were of making the world a better place and being a symbol of purity. When his parents were taken away from him, he wanted to protect other people from criminals, so that they never have to go through the sorrow he went through ever again, which is where the Batman's philosophy of no killing originates. And this is the reason why his cause is noble and just. This is the heart of the film. It wants you to understand not just the Batman's psyche, but the Riddler's as well. Not necessarily support him in his actions, but at least understand why he did what he did. Was the Riddler justified? Legally, we all know he wasn't. In the same way, Batman isn't justified to take the law in his own hands. I'm talking about moral justice. What would you have done if you knew the people who ruined your life without any fault of your own? You were a child. The world should have protected you, but instead, they used you. If you found yourself in a similar situation as the Riddler, what would you do? If you stuck this long, I sincerely thank you for your time. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel, as that is the best way to drive engagement. I would also love to know your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know if you would like me to focus on any specific characters in future videos. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.